Right, hello, it's Lucy. I've got some seated Pilates today for you. So I've got a few props, a chair, obviously, and my chair's got quite a high back. You might have a chair with a lower back. You could do this on a stool as well, and if you're on a stool, when we come to the standing bit, you might want to use a wall or something else for, anyway, that'll all become clear. But a stool is fine. I've got a towel, which is one prop we might use. I've also got my dressing gown belt, which might be useful. I've got some hand weights, a couple of cans of foods, 500 grams or whatever, 400 millilitres. They weigh the same, so that's an option. Or you might have some hand weights, that's fine. All of these are optional. And then I've got some books here, because when you're sitting on your chair, you want to have 90 degrees at the knee. And depending on how tall or short you are and how big or small your chair is, you might need to place some books underneath your feet just to bring that alignment better. So those are your options, and I have my obligatory plant. Obviously every Pilates video has to have a plant in it, so that's that one. Right, we're going to make a start then. So, quick disclaimer: if you don't feel well, if you feel sick, you feel dizzy, or any discomfort at all, stop what you're doing. It's really important now, because obviously we don't want any injuries at all. This is all about maintaining mobility, strength and flexibility, rather than trying to improve at this moment in time. So if you are exercising on your own, please have a phone nearby, just so that, if you needed to call someone, you could. What else? Just work at the level that works for you. Again, this is all about just getting a little bit of movement in your day. So, and you can watch this video again and again, and please share it with your friends. So let's start. So we'll start setting up the body. We're going to start seated. We will do a little bit of standing towards the end. But when we're sitting, you want to have, like I say, that 90 degrees at the knee and 90 degrees at the hip. We're going to bring the shoulders down, so up towards your ears, press them behind, and then draw them down your back. Let your hands rest gently at your side. We're looking to have a neutral pelvis. So by that I mean a natural position where we've got the natural curves of the spine. So we can just tuck the tailbone out behind you, and then tuck the tailbone under. So we're just working through that lower back area, just to find the range of movement that you've got, tucking and tilting. And then we want to find the middle point between those two, and then when we grow nice and tall out of the crown of the head, we should have a natural curve there through the spine. Shoulders are down and back, chin is parallel to the floor, a little bit of a chin tuck so we get the length down the back of the neck. And then we're going to do engage through the core. So we've got our nice Pilates posture. We're going to draw up the pelvic floor as if it's a lift inside the body, and you've got 10 floors to your lift. So we're going to draw the pelvic floor up to a count of 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's take a breath here. And as you exhale, we are going to lower that pelvic floor. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to draw that pelvic floor up again to a count of 10. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the pelvic floor is that muscle that if you were going for a wee, you would stop yourself mid-flow. That's the muscle that you're using. So it's like a hammock underneath you, holds all our gubbins up. So now we're going to bring that pelvic floor down to floor number 5. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Let's pause here. And now we're going to go down to floor number 3. So we're on 5, 4, 3. So we've got that gentle contraction, about 30%. So we're going to maintain that while we do some, we engage through the deepest stabilizing muscle. Comes round us like a corset. It's called the transversus abdominis, TVA for short. We're going to take a breath in. And as you exhale, pull your belly button in towards your spine. And you can feel a sort of an engagement in the lower belly. So that's drawing up the pelvic floor, drawing in through the belly button. And if you, as you pull that belly button in, almost try to tuck it up under your ribs. So you kind of got a little upward, tuck it up under your ribs. So let's hold that contraction while we do our Pilates lateral breathing. So lateral breathing means breathing out to the side. So we're trying to expand the rib cage out to the side, not up here in the chest, not down here in the belly. So place your hands on the side of your rib cage towards the back, and this is where you want to feel the breath going. So it's a breath in, and as you exhale, pull up the pelvic floor and pull in through the tummy. So we'll do a few breaths like that. You can close your eyes if you want. Helps you really connect and focus on what you're doing. So inhale. Feel the hands expanding, the ribs pressing against the hands. And as you exhale, you pull in through the tummy and draw up that pelvic floor, and you feel that tightening. Let's breathe in again. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And you want to stay nice and tall through the crown of the head. Last couple of breaths. I'm hoping that my mum's watching this. So hi mum, hope you're doing alright. I'll speak to you later. Lots of love. And exhale. So let's rest those hands down by the side. So we're going to mobilise the body now. So it's a breath in. And as you exhale, we can look over one shoulder. Inhale back to the centre. Exhale. Let's look over the other shoulder. So we're still pulling up and pulling in through our, this is the core, your powerhouse. I might say be strong in the centre. They all mean the same thing. I want you to think about pulling up your pelvic floor, drawing in through the belly, and exhaling as you create the movement. So we usually exhale away from the centre and inhale to come back. Last one. We're going to do ear to shoulder next. So you can hold on to the bottom of your chair if you like, just to help draw those shoulders down and back, give you a better stretch. And be aware, when we do an ear to shoulder, I see a lot of this where it's more of a forward movement. So think about your ear coming down to your shoulder, and you've got a pane of glass in front of you and a pane of glass behind you, so you can't go forwards or backwards. Lovely stretch. Hold on to the bottom of the chair. Let's do another one. Still pulling in through the tummy. So now we're just going to look at a sort of 45-degree angle and then look down as if you're trying to look into your armpit. And again, this hand, you can be drawing it down to help you get a nice stretch. And you should actually feel this from the back of the shoulder blade, the top of the shoulder blade, up the back of your neck. So we'll take a few breaths here. And as we exhale, I want you to think about also relaxing. So apart from the muscles that we're moving, that we're using, with Pilates, come back to the centre, we want to aim to relax the muscles that we're not moving. So 45 degrees, and then drop to look into your armpit. Or imagine that you've got a pocket on the front of your shirt and you're trying to look into that pocket. Every time you exhale, you're pulling in through the tummy, pulling up through the pelvic floor, but relaxing everywhere else. Last breath. Let's come back to the centre. And we can do some shoulder rolls next. So nice little movements here. We're just warming up the joints really. You could do shrugs or circles. And let's change the direction. Last one. Excellent. So nice and tall now. Think about that gap between your bottom ribs and your hips, and we're really trying to draw that up, but pulling in through the tummy to stay lifted. And we're going to do some rotation. So it's a breath in. We're not going to go very far. We're just gently drawing yourself round into the centre. So we want to think about mobility through the spine. You can just bring those hands in front. Exhale as you draw yourself round. If you have osteoporosis or any condition that you might have fractures in the spine or the ribs, we don't want to be doing, I'm going to show you the movement that we don't want to be doing. You don't want to be doing any forward flexion movements or any big rotations. So when I do rotations for you, it's very small movement. Just focus on engaging these muscles here and drawing yourself around gently. Okay? If you don't have any of those conditions, well, you can draw yourself around as far as you can. Last couple. And last one. Lovely, back to the centre. We'll do a little bit of a side bend, same thing for the osteoporosis or any condition that causes fractures in the spine. Minimal movement, so you're really just engaging these muscles and maybe just going that far. Okay, if you don't have those conditions, we can do a bit more of a side bend. So try to keep the hips neutral. Exhale. Pull in through the tummy to help stabilise you, and then we come back up. And again, it's about staying with that sideways movement. So my daughter's in the shed at the moment. Last one. Lovely. Now I'm going to show you a hip hinge. So coming onto the front edge of your chair. If you've got a back on your chair, you might want to turn like I have. Otherwise you can do it with the back, as long as you're sitting forwards on the front edge of that seat. So we're just going to do a little bit of a hip hinge, so hands resting down by your side. Breath in, exhale, pull up, pull in, and we're going to hinge back. So we're working those abdominal muscles. Just come back as far as feels comfortable for you. We're going to take a breath in. And as you exhale, you pull in through the tummy and draw yourself back up to that neutral. And again. You can have your arms in front parallel. Keep those shoulders down and back. So hinging back, shoulders down and back, breath in, exhale, pull in the tummy, draw yourself back up, nice and tall and neutral. So we're working with the breath, we hold it as we inhale, exhale, pull in through the tummy, draw yourself back up. Exhaling through the mouth, inhale through the nose, nice and deep and wide, exhale to draw yourself back up. So because we're all in the privacy of our own homes, you shouldn't feel embarrassed as you exhale and make a noise. It helps you stay connected with the breath. Be aware as we exhale, you pull in through the tummy. Last two. More of a challenge would be to have your arms higher. Last one. Bring those arms by your side. Brilliant. I'm going to actually prop myself up with my books. I think that's going to be better alignment. Oh, yeah. Try to keep them even. There we go. So again, we can sit forwards on the chair a little bit. We're going to work through the shoulders. So you've got the option of having your tin cans in your weights, and you've also got the option not to. So there's going to be, sometimes we get quite stiff in the shoulders. So we're going to be working to try and extend that range of movement as we go, so it just frees up a little bit. So take it easy to start with and see how you go. If you need to have a little bit of a bend in the elbows just to soften them, that's fine. Otherwise we're aiming for nice long strong arms. Keep the shoulders down and back, keep pulling in and pulling up the pelvic floor, pulling in through the belly to keep you nice and lifted here through the spine and keep you lifted through the waist. So we're going to start with some toy soldier arms. So we have one arm up. So nice pull in. I want you to think about the rib cage as well. Don't let the ribs arch. So we are stabilizing through the torso, pulling up the pelvic floor, pulling in through the tummy, ribs stay soft as we do our marching arms. Keep the shoulders down and back. Keep breathing. Keep pulling in through the tummy to keep nice and stable. Don't let the ribs pop up. And we're looking to work with your range of movement. Little bend in the elbows if you need to. Just coming as far as feels comfortable for you. Try to have the arms coming, how can I describe this, in this plane of movement rather than out to the side. Try to have them directly coming forwards and up, lengthening those arms away. Last couple. Keep the ribs soft, keep lifted through the crown of the head. Let's bring both arms to the front, and again keep the ribs soft and the upper body nice and stable. We're going to open up into our star, so that this is going to open through the chest, nice and slow. Focus on the breath. Exhaling, inhale to return. Exhale, pull it in through the tummy. That's good. Try not to move through the upper body. We want to get as much range of movement as we can. Last couple. Let's lower these weights down. We're going to bring elbows into the side of your ribs. Try to keep them attached. Now, you might find that you can't get your elbows tucked right in, but just as much as you can, and be aware of them. Palms facing the ceiling. And again, nice and tall, nice pull up and pull in. Breath in, and as you exhale, we just open up. Keep those elbows tapped in. So rotation, this is the rotator cuff muscles. We're going to be strengthening those up. And as you open and exhale, think about those shoulder blades behind you, squeezing together. So we're just going to open up these arms now. So exhale, hold it as you inhale. Exhale, we're going to straighten up the arms. Turn the palms to face the other way, back towards the ceiling, lower. Draw the shoulders down and back. Exhale to open. We're going to float those arms up. We're going to turn the palms back to the ceiling. Fold those wings in. Keep the shoulders down. Maybe you've got a little bit more movement going now through the shoulders. Keep pulling up through the pelvic floor, pulling in through the belly. Keep the shoulders down. Last one. Now we're going to keep the arms open here, and we'll just do some circles. Again, we're keeping nice and stable through the upper body. So keep pulling in through the tummy, pulling in through the pelvic floor. Make those circles as large as you're able to. If this is difficult to have them out to the side, you can bring them a little bit forwards, maybe soften up those elbows. So long, long limbs. Let's change the direction of those circles. You could have the weights in your hand for this. You'd certainly feel that. Last couple of circles. Lowering down. Let's take those weights again if you want. We're just going to do some tricep dips. I'm going to show you on one side. We'll do both sides together, but the elbows come behind, and then you're just going to straighten up the arm. So if we do both sides together, keep the arms out behind you, and you just bend and straighten the elbow. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. And bring your hands forwards, palms facing up, and we'll just do some bicep curls. And again, both sides at the same time. Elbows into your side. Pulling in through the pelvic floor, pulling in through the tummy. So we're nice and strong in the center. We haven't collapsed through the waist. Nice and tall through the crown of the head, shoulders back and down. Last 2 or 3. Lovely. We can place the weights down. Let's take either your belt, or you could have a rolled up towel, So I'm going to use my belt because it's a bit longer, basically, because I'm going to try and get my arms overhead. But to start with, let's have your arms in front, gently pulling on the belt, round about shoulder width apart, slightly wider than shoulder width. And again, we're thinking about keeping the torso nice and stable because we're pulling up the pelvic floor, we're pulling in through the tummy. And as you inhale, bring those arms up, watch the shoulders, keep the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale to lower, and inhale, and exhale. So we're going nice and slow because I want you to focus on nice strong center, so that's your pelvic floor, and pulling in through your tummy button, keeping the shoulders down, working with the breath. So we inhale to lift, keep the ribs soft, maybe take the arms a bit wider now, and we'll see if we can go a bit higher with those arms. Again, you can have that little bend in your elbows if you need to, if you can't do it with straight arms. And now I'm bringing my arms even wider, and I'm going to bring my arms behind me if I can, and lower to exhale. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. And again, slowly bringing my arms wider and wider. And I'm going to try and bring my arms all the way down and all the way back up. Keeping the torso nice and stable and tall through the spine. Go as wide as you need to with those arms, and lose the belt if you need to. You don't need to have the belt, just bring those arms up and round. So I'll show you what I mean. So you might just have your arms up and then swing them down and round. I like it with the belt, helps stretch out. Last one or two. Stay tall through the torso, nice and tall through the crown of the head. Chin is parallel to the floor. Last one. Excellent. Give those shoulders a little bit of a shrug. Excellent. Right, we'll move on to some work with the legs now. So we can take the belt or the towel, or do it without anything at all. I'll do it without. I'll make the assumption that you don't have anything. Although actually, if you have the belt, you would have the belt around your foot, and as you lift and straighten, press against the belt and lower. So I'll do it without. So you can hold on to the bottom of the seat just to help you stay nice and stable. You've got books underneath your feet to help you keep the knees at 90 degrees, so just be aware of that. So it's a breath in. We're going to do some knee extension. So breath in, straighten up that leg, flex the foot, point the toe, flex the foot, point the toe, flex the foot, point the toe, flex and return. Same on the other side. Breath in, exhale, let's straighten up that foot. We're going to flex the foot, point the foot, flex and point, and flex and point and flex to return. Breath in. Same on the other side. Straightening up the first leg, flex the foot, point the foot, flex, point. Keep breathing. Flex, point, flex, return. Breath in, exhale, straighten up the other leg. Flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, return. One more on each side. Breath in, exhale, straighten up, flex, point, flex, and point, and flex, and point, and flex, and return. Breath in, exhale, straighten up that leg, and we're going to flex and point, flex and point. Sit tall and point and flex and return. Lovely. So we're going to do some knee lifts now. So I want you to imagine that you've got a little hook on, it's like you're a puppet, and the strings are on your knees. So again, holding under the seat just to help you stabilise. We're pulling in, pulling up. So keep pulling in through the tummy, keep staying nice and tall, shoulders down and back, and breath in. As you exhale, fire up that core as you lift your knee and lower. And lift the opposite side and lower. So we're working those hip flexor muscles and also the abdominals. Stay nice and tall, alternating sides. Lift and lower. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Other side, exhale. As we exhale, we pull in through the tummy and really fire up that core. Try not to collapse as you lift. Stay nice and tall. Left leg, or the first leg. And we can add in the opposite arm. Still stay nice and tall. Nice and slow. Last one. Perfect. So, I want to get rid of those books now, so move them right out of the way. And make sure that you haven't got anything that you're likely to trip over. Or keep everything nice and safe. We're going to do some standing. So, with a hinge through the hip. So this, we're going to come forwards onto the front edge of the seat. And arms by your side, and I want you to think about bringing your nose down towards your toes. So we're hinging through, see if I can do it this way. So nose comes down towards your toes, and then with your feet a little bit underneath. So nose towards your toes, arms forward, and then just a little bit of a lift. So nose to toes, forwards, arms, and lift. Nose to toes, and lift. And then we're going to stand. So it's nose to toes, and again sitting down. So we're not bending forwards, we're not going to put any pressure on that lower back. It's nose to toes, forwards and up. Bend the legs, nose to toes and down. So we keep the back straight and we use the legs to power through. Think about your nose coming towards your toes. Last couple. Keep pulling up, pulling in. So we're nice and strong through the centre. Last one. Let's stay standing. And we're going to come round to do a little bit of standing work. I'm going to move my chair forwards, and I'm going to probably put it that way so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've got quite a high backed chair. If you have a stool, you've got no back on it obviously. So if you have a stool, you could either do this against the wall, or you can do it a good height maybe would be the kitchen counter. So that would be a good height to use to do the next bit. Or like I say, against the wall. So we'll start by just doing some movement through the hip. So holding on to the back of the chair and keep the hips nice and level. Good pull in through the tummy, and we're just going to do some circles, half circles, forwards, to the side and behind. So as you draw that leg behind, stay nice and neutral through your spine. Try not to twist through the hips. Think about keeping the hips nice and stable. Exhale and inhale to return. Keep bashing into that thing. I suppose you can't see the top of my head now. Oh well, that's a shame. Last couple. Then I want you to leave that foot behind you, but we're going to tip forwards now. So we've got a straight diagonal line. You can do it this way as well, actually, facing the chair. But I've got this straight diagonal line. I'm pulling in through the tummy. I'm squeezing through the bottom. And I'm going to lift and tap. And I want you to focus on your hips being lined up in front of you so that you are not twisting to get that lift. So you're not using a sideways movement. We really want to squeeze through the bottom and use your bottom to do that lifting. So we're not arching through the back, we're keeping nice and tall, just gently tipping forwards from the hip, and extend that leg so it's nice and straight, so you're not bending through the leg. You might only get a tiny bit of movement here because we're often very weak in the glutes, so that's fine. I'd rather you had a small movement but the right movement than the incorrect movement, which is doing no good whatsoever. So lifting and tapping that leg, squeezing through the bottom, pulling in through the tummy, relaxing through the rest of the body. Excellent. Last couple. Perfect. So we can do the same on the other side. I'll swap this round. You can just turn away, look away. So, nice and tall, thinking about pulling in, pulling up and pulling in. And we're going to do those half circles with the leg to start with. So exhale to help you pull in through the tummy, because what happens here is you bring that leg behind you, it wants to tip your spine. So keep the spine in neutral, exhale to pull in through the tummy. And you'll be squeezing through the bottom to bring that leg round. Last two. And last one. Hello, boy, boy. And then we're going to bring that leg behind. Keep it behind. Again, think about the squaring up those hips, tipping forward, so we've got that straight diagonal line. We're pulling in through the tummy, shoulders are back and down, and we lift and tap. Really send that leg out behind you so it's nice and straight. Be aware of any arching through the lower back. Try to keep the spine in neutral. Last one or two. Lovely. Okay. So we will now just do some seated stretches just to release, because we're pretty much done now. I'm just going to do a little bit, coming back to your seated. Just take a moment to set yourself up with maybe the books under your feet. And I want to do this for those who don't have any issues with osteoporosis or any conditions that cause spine fractures. We can do what we call the open book. If you do suffer from osteoporosis or spine conditions, then just bring the arms out to 90 without the rotation. So otherwise we're going to go hands in front, draw the shoulders back and down, nice pull up and pull in, breath in, imagine that you are, so lengthen those arms away but keep the shoulders down, and we're just going to open up as if we are a book, and you keep watching that hand. So you would go to 90 degrees if you have osteoporosis. If you don't, then we can continue round. Keep watching that hand as far as you are able to. Keep the shoulders down. And we're still breathing. Nice breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we're going to close that book up and open on the other side. Breath in. Keep the ribs nice and soft. So we're pulling in through the tummy. Oh boy, boy, what are you up to? Oh dear. Sorry about that. Boy, boy. And open book. I'm going to get the giggles now. Keep the shoulders down. Nice pull in through the tummy. We're getting a nice mobility through the spine. Oh, you're so embarrassing. Last one. Nice pull in through the tummy. Watch that hand as it goes round. We want to get that nice rotation. Last one. Hello, darling. Lovely. Let's do some shrugs. Shoulder rolls. Just shrug those shoulders up or roll them behind. Changing the direction. So we're just going to bring those arms forwards and have a little round hand, clasp the hands together and stretch. So we open up across the back, drop the head in between your arms. And we're going to bring those hands behind. Lengthen the arms away, open up through the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. Bring the arm up towards the ceiling, a little bit of a stretch. Same on the other side, so one arm up and then gently stretching over. Let's bring that arm across the body and just hold to stretch through the shoulder. We'll do the same on the other side. Bring the arm across the body, drawing it in to get that stretch. So we can do a hamstring stretch. So we straighten out one leg, flex the foot, and then we're going to hinge forwards so that you get that stretch up the back of the leg. So when I say, let's just do it this way. So keep a straight back, keep a straight leg, and you just hinge until you get to that point. If you're bending, trying to bring your nose down to your knee, you're not getting that stretch. It is that hinging at the hip that will give you that stretch. So let's just wait here. Try to send your tail out that way, crown of your head this way. Changing over to the other side. So nice flexed foot, again, straight at the knee, and you hinge it forwards till you feel that stretch. Keep the back neutral, shoulders back and down. Lovely, that's it, we're done. So getting up nice and slowly, again think about that sort of nose to toes, reaching forward with the arms and coming back up to standing. Thank you very much. Hi Mum, I hope you enjoyed that and I'll see you again. Thanks.